Hello, friends. Welcome to this special session of CNS Inspire series, which focuses on individuals who have made an indelible mark in their field. Our guest of honor today is Sriram Natarajan, co founder, executive director, and CEO of Molbio Diagnostics, a leading Indian molecular diagnostics company focusing on innovation in point of care molecular diagnostics. Known for its TrueNat point of care platforms, Sriramji is the recipient of the prestigious KOCHON Prize, which recognizes individuals and organizations for significant contributions to fighting tuberculosis, which was awarded by the Stop TB Partnership for the portable TrueNat PCR platform, which has been a revolutionary point of care diagnostic tool for tuberculosis and other diseases, especially in low resource settings. Welcome, Sriramji. And we would like to know something about your early life briefly and what brought you to the field of medical diagnostics in healthcare. What has been your journey as a dreamer?
So thank you, Shobha. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this session. Very happy to be here. So, yes, I started my journey as a botanist, actually. I was doing my botany. So I was did my BSc, MSc, MPhil, and I was even doing my PhD in botany. But I was in the biochemistry side of botany. So while I was working for my PhD, I was looking to estimate plant hormones, which required some more sensitive tools. So that time I knew that there's a technology called radioimmunoassays, which were supposed to be very, very sensitive. So the only place which was able to make radioimmunoassays was BARC in Bombay. And they were conducting a course. So I went to attend the course there, so 1 month course. And while attending the course, I found out the human application of these technologies and how they were saving lives. And that was what completely made me to change my, career, the direction. And when I came back, I left my PhD without completing it and joined this company called Hext, which is now called Sanofi. It used to be called Hext India Limited earlier, and they had a division called Bearing Diagnostics, where they were just launching their diagnostic division. They were looking for technical marketing people. So I went and joined them because this was aligned to what I did in BRC. And that's where I learned a lot of diagnostics. Actually, the theory part and the application part was all from Hext at that time. And I was with them for about 3.5 years. And then I joined in another Indian company called Krishna Keshav Laboratories. This was a company who was the leaders in IV fluids at that time in India. And they wanted to start a diagnostics division, and they wanted somebody who could do that for them. So I joined them to set up a completely de novo diagnostics, both manufacturing and marketing setup for them. Spent another 3.5 years with them. And that company started doing quite well. But by the time two other partners of mine in my first company, Tulip, and me were already thinking, why can't we start our own company and start developing technologies which are more relevant to India and more relevant to Indian kind of conditions, and also technologies which could be decentralized, because even today for that matter, but at that time even more so, all healthcare was so centralized that majority of the population don't have access to it, at least don't have timely access to it. That is even true today. So that's why even in Tulip in 1990, when we started the company, we decided that we will start developing technologies which would be more point of care, which can be taken closer to the patients and create more access. So that's how we started.
Yeah. So that was the Tulip company you started, is it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In 1990.
1990, yes.
Okay. Yes, please.
So then Tulip, we developed a lot of technologies and many verticals in the diagnostic space, like immunology, immunohematology, microbiology, biochemistry, what are called the rapid diagnostic tests, and so on. And in many of them, we were the pioneers, because even globally, nobody was working in decentralized kind of level. And so we were the first. For example, our test for malaria was a global monopoly for almost 12 years.
Okay, sorry, that was the first test you developed, is it?
No, one of the tests we developed. We had,
okay.
Before that, we had a few more tests which are already in the market.
Okay.
Malaria test was a totally different technology and
Mm.
totally new. Nobody had
Mm.
capability of making that kind of a technology,
Mhm.
which we developed in-house and we made the test ourselves. And it became a global hit because it was completely changing the way diagnostics was being done for malaria. And even before WHO approved it, countries are already using it in a big way.
Okay.
So it was quite a huge product. Similarly, there are many more areas where we had made technologies which are global and which created a big impact. So that's how we went on in Tulip. Tulip grew organically for about 27 years before we sold it to a US company. I'll come to that a little later.
Yes. Okay.
But while doing all this in Tulip, one area we had not touched was molecular diagnostics. And molecular diagnostics was supposed to be, and even today is known to be the gold standard
Yeah.
technology for diagnosing infectious diseases.
Mm.
Most accurate, most sensitive. So if you're talking about early diagnosis and accurate diagnostics, then molecular is the only tool that should be used. So everybody knew about it, but it was never used as a clinical tool just because it was again a very, very highly centralized model. And in India, for that matter, at that time, only about 100 to 120 institutions had a capability to do PCR, and most of them were government research institutions actually. So I was thinking in Tulip itself that if this technology can be decentralized and made into a point of care solution, that will be the game changer for infectious disease diagnostics, as well as even thinking about going for elimination programs, because then you need very, very high levels of sensitivity. So I started a small activity in my own company in Tulip at that time. When in 1989, 2009, I was attending a conference in Delhi in ICGB. That's where I met Dr. Chandrasekhar Nair, who's my current partner in Molbio. He had already started his R&D company called Big Tech Laboratories. And it was the only private R&D company even today, which is completely doing only R&D, right? And I was very surprised that they could even start something like that at that time. But they did that, and he was also working on similar lines. So when I saw his presentation at SHGB, he was talking about a portable battery-operated device which could do PCR for multiple diseases. And when I saw that, I said, wow, this is exactly what I'm trying to do in Tulip myself. So I thought, let me check with him and ask him what were his plans about this technology and what they wanted to do. And he said, actually, we don't have any plans. And in fact, we are waiting for someone to buy this technology from us. Maybe some multinational company will come forward and buy it. I said, why do you want to do that? I mean, you've got a game-changing solution. Why don't you commercialize this and take it further? He said, I have no idea how to do it. I said, why don't we work together? Then we can jointly take this forward and make it into a global product. And so that's how we formed Molbio. And Molbio was set up in 2011 as a joint venture company. At that time, as between BidTech Laboratories and me as equal partners. And but I was still in Tulip at that time. But the other two partners in Tulip did not want to be a part of this because one had already retired and the other one was going through some health problems and he didn't want to start a new company. So we agreed that I will do both Tulip and Molbio, together. So this, although Chandni made the presentation in 2009 about a prototype, that prototype required a lot of work to be still done to make it into a product, which can be actually called a point of care solution that can go into the market. So in 2013 is when we had our first, what we call the semi-automated version of TrueNat ready. We still had not completed the work because we knew it had to be fully automated to be a point of care solution. But we thought we'll still go to the market and see how smaller laboratories were reacting to it. And 150 such standalone labs who never ever thought that they could do a PCR in their life. They're so thrilled to see that they have a machine now where they can do PCR in their own lab. And there were 3-4 tests we already had at that time, like hepatitis and malaria, dengue, and H1N1. And they were thrilled they could do all these tests. So that gave us a lot more confidence to take this forward. And we continued to work on this to make it into a fully automated version. And that's when I was already in public health space earlier because I had been an advisor to WHO on many occasions. And I knew that tuberculosis was a big problem. And I knew that TB needed some solution like what we have. So we changed our course and started working on TB. And when ICMR came to know about it, they also said, yes, please make a test for TB because that's what we also want. So we took another 2 years, and by 2017, we had a test for TB ready, and our fully automated version of TrueNat, which is our current version, was also ready. So ICMR came forward, they did a very large validation. They actually put out machines in 100 microscopy centers, which are primary health centers, where actually what they do is microscopy, smear microscopy as a test for diagnosing. And that smear microscopy is only 50% sensitive. So it's not able to detect more than half the people who come with TB. And that was a problem. That's what they were trying to solve. So they said if your molecular test can work there, then that's the only way we can replace microscopy. So the study was done in 100 such centers, and similarly, a global agency called FIND did a multi-country study in about 4 countries, again, just to check whether it will work in all geographical locations. So by 2019, both of them came with very good results, saying that this actually worked at these kind of very, very resource-limited settings, and they can actually replace microscopy with the PCR now. And that is how TB can be now tackled. So ICMR immediately made a recommendation to the Indian TB program to go ahead and implement our technology. And similarly, FIND made a recommendation to WHO. And so that enabled us to get a WHO recommendation in January 2020. And the government of India also placed a big order on us for TB. So now that's how the TB part is going on. And so today in India, for example, more than 50% of microscopy has already been replaced by a molecular test, which is our test. They have about 7,500 centers which are using our platform right now. And they do about close to 15 million tests per year. So India is actually far ahead of the curve compared to other countries, other TB burden countries, where the conversion to molecular testing has only happened in about 30 to 35% on average.
Yes.
So the global target is to replace 100% microscopy with a PCR. So that's the next few years. Hopefully things will happen.
Okay, I think your machine played a very big role in COVID testing as well. Am I right?
Yeah. So I was just going to come to that. So
Okay.
January 2020, we got this order from the government of India for 1,500 machines and about 6 million TB tests. And so we started delivering those. And in end of March, we had COVID.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the lab had already developed a test for COVID. And so when the government announced COVID in India, the lab came and said, we already have a test. So we immediately went to ICMR and they jumped for it. And they did a very quick validation and they approved our test in the first week of April. And then the government came back and said, please move all your machines from TB centers and take them to COVID centers. They're only going to do COVID tests. So at that time, India had only one laboratory which could do COVID tests, and that was the NIV Pune.
Okay.
They had some 3-4 centers, so totally about 3-4 centers which could do COVID testing. And you can imagine the numbers, right? So India was struggling. So suddenly, because of us, India could scale up from 3-4 to 1,500 centers now, all across the country, which could do COVID testing. So that was a huge impact that happened. And for the next 1 year, we were the major suppliers of COVID tests to the government of India.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any other? What are the other tests? I believe it's a multi-disease testing platform.
Yeah, TrueNat was meant to be a multi-disease platform. Although we are doing a lot of TB today, but TrueNat can today already do 40 different diseases.
Okay.
Apart from TB. So you can do hepatitis B, C, you can do dengue, chikungunya, you can do HIV viral load, you can do HPV for cervical cancer screening, you can do typhoid, So like you can do about 40 different diseases already on the platform. So the machine is the same, everything is the same, only one consumable changes that determines whether it's a TB test or a malaria test or HIV test. So you just have to order that and the same machines can be used for multiple things. That is now what the government of India is also thinking. So already the National Viral Hepatitis Control Program has started using our test, using the same TB machines for doing hepatitis testing. And going forward, we just got our HPV test for cervical cancer screening also
Okay.
rolled out officially into the national program. And I
All
think
right.
from next year, that will actually be also be a big programmatic implementation. And again, the TB machines, and maybe they will have to scale up a little bit more because currently the TB machines are quite busy with the TB testing. So they may not be able to share too much of their infrastructure. So maybe there will be some scaling up. But idea is now that these machines should actually be in every primary center so that at the primary level, you're able to do so many different diseases so that all these people
Yes.
suffer from it. They can be diagnosed early on, put on treatment. So first of all, the patients get cured very quickly. Second is they stop giving infection to other people so that you're cutting down the transmission. And the third is that also by giving the right treatment early on, you are preventing the antimicrobial resistance, which is becoming a big problem
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all these people, otherwise, what they're doing is they'll go to some physician, they'll give them some antibiotic, and most of the time the
Yes.
antibiotic will work. Then they take some other antibiotic, and that's what happens, right? So once our machines are there, they can actually get the test done, come to know exactly what's the problem, and then get treated properly.
Okay. What's the cost effectiveness of your tests? And are you planning to innovate more on the TrueNat or in some ways
So the
reducing
test
the
is,
cost? Yes.
yeah, see, even today with this cost, there are many, two or three published papers which have studied cost analysis.
Hmm.
And even the HTA has done a study in India itself.
Hmm.
But they found that implementing TrueNat, especially for tuberculosis, is very, very cost effective
Hmm.
because of the impact it's having in terms of the, you know, multiplication
Hmm.
effect on the cost when somebody gets serious, he goes to a hospital, has to be treated, and all the, if you take all those parameters into mind, this is an extremely cost effective solution. So now with as a multi-disease platform, now already have invested in the
Yes.
capex of the machine. So it's only a question of consumable. So it
Hmm.
still becomes a very compelling argument for as a cost-effective solution for all the diseases, especially because you're treating early on appropriately, saving lives, cutting transmission, and also contributing to multi-drug resistance and improvement and all that. So that is how people are looking at it. We are, of course, trying to see as the volumes grow, we are giving better and better prices to the public health system. But you're right, we still need better solutions, more cost-effective solutions. So our R&D is already working on multiple projects.
Hmm.
And in fact, in this year itself, we'll be launching another molecular platform.
Hmm.
We are developing, in collaboration with the Gates Foundation, which is going to be for large-scale screening, where the cost will be also lower and the complexity also will be lower.
Hmm.
So that it can be something like even ASHA worker can actually do a PCR now, kind of a thing.
All right. For tuberculosis. That is for
Good.
tuberculosis.
Starting with tuberculosis, but again, we can
Okay.
do
Okay.
multiple diseases in that. So
Okay.
that project is on.
Hmm.
So that will be for large screening. So that large
Hmm.
screening, doing a TrueNat or any other PCR will be much more expensive.
Right.
So this solution is being developed mainly for that.
Okay.
So it should be probably ready by end of the year.
Hmm.
So next year we should
Okay.
bring it out for TB to start with, like I said, but we will also have other parameters coming in this.
All right.
So this will be much more cost effective than TrueNat.
Hmm.
And as I said, much more simpler to do.
Okay. Do you see more competitiveness in the market today as compared to when you started with TrueNet? Are there more such devices coming up in the market? Of course, that
Yes.
must be keeping you on your toes also all the time. But
Now, there are a few companies who are
yes.
coming with solutions,
Hmm.
but even so far, nobody has been able to develop the kind of technology that we
Right.
have.
Hmm.
They still require this, some laboratory infrastructure. They're still not that portable.
Hmm.
They have still not come to that kind of a level. But yes, there is activity, and it's good to see that other companies are coming in because that will only cater to a larger market segment.
Right. Right.
More,
Exactly.
more patients will get benefited. So for
Ex-
us, that is more important. Business
Yes,
is one
yes.
part of it, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And competition is good also. In many
It's
ways,
very good.
competition. Yes, competition is very
So,
good.
so in
So,
fact, sometimes
yes.
we even give advice to them, mentor them. So even though they could be competing with us, but we don't have a problem with that.
Yes, yes, that is true. Yes, and I believe you help promote biotechnology innovations start by startups. Can you please elaborate on that? How are you
Yeah.
helping?
So while we have a very strong R&D, we have about
Hmm, hmm,
215 people in our R&D today,
hmm,
scientists and engineers working on multiple projects. But
hmm.
we realize that we can't do everything ourselves.
Right.
There are a lot of innovations coming up now, small, you know, um, innovators coming with very, very beautiful solutions, but they're not able to take them through only because of the, as we call valleys of death, because funding is a problem, finding
Yes.
the right path is the problem, getting support, mentorship, and so on. So some of them have been coming to us saying that, can you help us and why don't we would like to work with you? So that we have been doing in the last 3, 4 years. So there are 5 or 6 companies now we are working with, where we have agreement with them to help them develop and also commercialize the product as a joint project. Then we thought, why don't we give it a structure, proper structure? So now
Right.
we are running a program called Edge. It's
Okay.
our own accelerator program,
Hmm,
where we are asking innovators to apply to this program.
hmm,
So we have already done this. Last year we had one round, but this year we had another round.
hmm,
So close to 50 to 60 people applied to this. And then we have an independent jury who go through this entire applications and
hmm.
shortlist the ones which could be, potentially scalable.
Hmm,
Yeah. And then we then work with them for a period of 3 to 6 months
hmm,
to see how this whole thing is looking. And if everything looks fine, then we continue to work with them. And we
hmm,
can engage with them in different ways. So we can either partner with them, we can just license out the technology, or we can work as a joint venture. So multiple mechanisms we can use.
hmm,
Or if they don't want to work with us, they are also okay. They're still free to do their own.
hmm.
There is no obligation that they have to
Okay.
always work
Hmm.
with us.
All
So
right.
this is what we're doing. And
Hmm,
while doing this now, we have realized that, probably we also have to create a center of excellence, because
hmm.
they all need incubation space, they
Yes.
all need
Hmm,
equipments,
hmm.
and we can't, because of the quality management system requirements, we cannot have third parties using our existing
Yeah.
machines.
Yeah.
So that's not possible. So we are trying
Hmm,
to now create a center of excellence.
hmm.
And we already have a place ready and we're trying to populate with machines. So now the people we are taking in can also use that space and can use the machines, everything. All that you will need to make diagnostic products, either
Hmm,
equipment or kits, will
hmm.
be possible to do the center of excellence. So that's coming up. So we are looking for some uh, donors who can also donate to this cause,
Yes.
because the overall cost of the center of excellence is going to be pretty high.
Yes.
We need a fairly large amount of money. We are
Hmm,
talking
hmm.
to multiple potential donors on this, and but we are committed that we are going ahead with it. So these are all ways where we are trying to also help the ecosystem as much as possible and help
Yeah.
innovators to come up. Well, that is the most important thing.
Yes.
I've seen this myself both in Tulip and in Molbio,
Hmm.
how difficult it is, even if you develop a product, to take it to market. And there's so many hurdles, so many issues that you have to cross.
Yes.
And in spite of me having experience in Tulip, I still struggled in Molbio.
Hmm.
So I know how difficult it is. So for somebody who's just a scientist, it's impossible for them to even think what is ahead for them. So that is what we are trying to solve and help them go through the process, not make the same mistakes we made,
Yes.
and make sure that they are be able to scale up their products much, much faster. We took a long time for making TrueNat. We did 14 years of work before we could go to the market. But that's a long time, right? And
Yes.
so we know
Yes.
that it could be shortened, and that's what we want to pass on to these new innovators and shorten their development cycle also.
Yeah. So you have the way you have articulated yourself, it sounds so easy that yes, from one step to the other step you went, you rather ran from one step to another. But as you mentioned, you must have faced so many challenges before tasting so much of success. Can you just mention few of those challenges which might have really put you down at times, or if you don't mind sharing them?
No, no problem. No.
Mm.
See, of course, money is always a challenge, right? When you're that time you don't have any money, you have just a idea and a prototype, and you want to convert it into a product. And at that time, you don't realize how much it's going to take. So as you keep moving, your requirement for money keeps going up, and you don't get anybody to invest because banks won't touch you at all because you don't have any cash or net worth or anything of that sort. So no bank will touch you, and no private equity investors will touch you. Even venture capitalists also are very selective. Unless you come to a certain stage, they won't touch you. So you have to keep on. So you have to keep on raising money. So that's a big problem. Then you have to keep on approaching your relatives, your friends, your all. In fact, I borrowed a lot of money from my own partners in Tulip for Molbio, and so not everybody has that kind of
faith
things
or trust. Yes.
to fall back on, right? And so, but even then it was tough. I mean, so it was every time a challenge, and many times you feel, are we doing the right thing? Will we be able to cross this or not? So that's one big challenge. Second challenge is to convince everybody, including our own country and globally, that an Indian product can be as good as an international product is a huge problem.
Yes.
It doesn't appear so, but it's very difficult.
Yes.
So the moment we went and said, yes, we have a PCR system now, we can do that, nobody believed that we could do it, right? So it took us, so if every customer, it would take us months to convince them. We'll say, keep the machine here, we'll see, we'll run it, check. So these are all big hurdles. But they won't even blink an eye before buying an imported product, right?
Yes, that's true.
So that was a big issue. So that we faced quite a lot in India. And when we wanted to go outside of India, it was even more an issue. So these are, again, then you start questioning, is it really going to work? So that's another thing. Third problem is the regulatory landscape. The regulatory landscape is also very complicated. And what has happened is that very quickly, India has tried to transform from no regulation to very, very high levels of regulation. So that has caught everybody unaware. So even the regulators don't know what to do. And so things get delayed quite a lot. So you get stuck in the regulatory system, and sometimes your licensing can take even 1 year or more than a year. And so that again, it becomes a big issue because then you have invested so much, but you still cannot go to market just because of this regulatory. And then that regulatory in India, then if you go outside of India, every country has regulatory requirements. Then there's the WHO, which requires the PQ. There is Europe, which needs CE mark. So it's again very complex and very time consuming. So these are all huge challenges, huge things that you have to serve, You need to be able to have that kind of a capability to withstand all this and manage to go through before you can actually start, getting some revenues on the board and trying to start becoming self-sustainable, right? So it takes a long time. So that's the biggest problem.
Yes. And so you have to have the tenacity to stick on to your convictions and
and
move ahead.
You have to manage in many ways, right? And
yes. Right.
so always, instead of focusing on your core activity, you're focusing only on how to raise money and how to survive. Your people, you have to pay salaries to them.
Right.
And all that. So yeah, it is tough. And then there is no assurance of market also, right? You have to create your own market. So there's no guarantee that once you have it, people are going to buy it.
Yes, that's
So
true.
that's another thing. So even though in our case, I would really say that the government of India really did a lot of things for us, which also helped us quite a bit in where we are today.
Yes.
But that's only because I think we had a solution which they wanted, right?
Which was really point of care and point of need test. That is, I think, also important.
The TB program required it badly.
Yes.
But it doesn't happen to everybody, so that's another thing. So
right. The startups which you have supported, the edge which you have formed, how many of them are there now, ready to go forward, or they have already gone forward? And to what disease diagnostics do they relate to?
No, we have three of them short
Mm.
that we are taking forward from the last time.
Okay.
So one is somebody who has got technology for a dengue test,
All
where you
right.
can actually differentiate all the four types in
Uh,
a rapid format.
mm.
So in a very simple, easy way, you
Okay.
can say whether it's dengue 1, dengue 2, dengue 3, or dengue
All right.
4,
Mm.
which is a very interesting parameter.
Mm.
So we are working closely with them to make it more
Mm.
validated and get more evidence
Mm.
generation that's going on at this point of time.
Okay.
Similarly, there's a company which they have a self-collecting device for cervical swabs.
All
So
right.
where people can do their own collection so that, otherwise collecting cervical swabs is a problem. So you need to have a health worker to go and do all that. So
Mm.
the
Mm.
self-collection would increase the, more and more women to.
Uptake of the
So
test. Yes.
that is a company with whom we are working. So that 3, 4 projects like this we are working closely with.
All right.
The current Edge program, we are still shortlisting the people, so that work is going on.
All right. All right. So I just wanted to know more of your future plans.
First of all, TrueNet globally is now being recognized as the integrated platform for multiple disease tests. So we are continuing to grow the number of diseases we can do. Today
Okay.
we have 40 already in the market, another 30 more on pipeline. So it will keep growing. And then we'll also be getting into cancer markers and so on.
All right.
And TrueNet can also be used for veterinary diagnostics. So that's one other vertical we are working on. So even veterinary, disease testing can happen in this. So TrueNet will keep growing as a platform. But now there are 3 new platforms which are going to be launched. One is called TrueAMP, which is for syndromic testing, where in one test we are able to look for 16 different pathogens. So it means that if supposing you have fever, go to a doctor. Now the doctor will ask only for one test, and that will tell you what is exactly causing your fever. So this is called syndromic testing. So we have fever panel, we have a respiratory panel, we have a UTI panel for urinary tract infections, we have a sepsis panel for septicemia. So it's a life-saving product because in septicemia mostly it's post-operative infection, and mostly these organisms are multi-drug resistant. So by the time they're able to do culture and find out the organism and the antibiotic, the patient is
It is gone.
most of the times gone. So here within 1 hour, they'll be able to identify exactly what organism is causing it. And they will also be able to find out which antibiotic will work for them. Because they also have a AMR panel.
Okay.
So in 1 hour, we can do that so that they can immediately take action. So this will be saving a lot of lives again. So this TrueAMP will be this platform which can do multiple panels. And the panels will keep on increasing depending on the need of how people want to test multiple things. So today we have about 6 or 7 panels which are getting ready. But every year, again, new panels will come in. So just like TrueNet, it will also be doing. But this is now, as you said, more screening than, right? But then we are coming out with one product called TrueSight, which is a platform for doing CBC at point of care. See, today, CBC is a test every doctor wants to know before they want to diagnose anything for you. But CBC is still, you have to go to a laboratory. So if you go do that, then at least one day is gone. And the doctor is not waiting for that. So he's already started, treatment for you. So if the doctor can do the CBC right where he is within few minutes. So this one will be enabling this blood count happening right next to where the physician himself is. He can do it in his own clinic also. Within 4 to 5 minutes, they will get the full report. So as the patient is there, the report also will come. So that then he can then take some very important decisions based on that, right? So we believe that's going to be game changing. This again can go to primary centers. So primary healthcare centers don't have this capability. So at that level also, if they want to do a simple thing like a CBC, they have to still come to a laboratory. So all that, it will again be a game changing solution, both in public health and private sector also. So this I think is going to be again something very important. Then of course I told you about the screening molecular tests with Gates Foundation that we are developing. Also should be ready by end of the year. So these are the platforms already ready, and we are working on multiple more technologies. Right?
Yes. What about, I'm not very sure, but are you also using tongue swabs for the TB test? Because,
Yes,
right,
that's it.
sputum is generally used. Sometimes it's difficult to get the sputum, and there are some problems with that also.
Yes, yes. So
So,
we have developed, along with TrueNat system itself,
hmm,
a small machine called True Lies.
okay,
So using this, you can do now tongue swabs and even sputum swabs.
okay,
Right? So this is already undergoing validations.
all
So a
right,
lot of studies have already happened. The data is looking very interesting.
all right.
And even
Because,
this, yeah, even
yes,
this, the other machine I told you with the Gates Foundation that we're doing
hmm,
also,
hmm.
with that also we'll do sputum swabs and tongue swabs.
All right. That will be a great game changer. I think that will
Correct. So,
enhance diagnostics and point of care diagnostics still more.
correct. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Then we also have now two companies we have acquired. So one company
Hmm.
is called Prognosis Medical Systems,
Hmm.
Indian company from Bangalore, again a fully R&D based company,
Hmm.
and they're into digital X-rays, right? And they do conventional X-rays, but with them we have also developed what's called as ultra portable X-rays.
Hmm.
These
Hmm.
are handheld X-rays, battery operated.
Hmm.
So it's like they look like a camera actually.
Right. Hmm.
So you can charge the X-ray and go anywhere you want and take 100 to 150 X-rays in one charge,
Hmm.
right? So with this, now what's happening is in TB itself, right now the TrueNut machines are only looking at testing patients who come to the program because they are symptomatic. So
Yes.
now a lot more people are asymptomatic who have
Hmm.
TB,
Hmm.
give TB to other people,
Hmm.
but they don't come to the program because they don't know that they have TB.
Hmm. Hmm.
So now, if you want to do TB elimination, then you also
Yes.
have to pick up these people and put them on treatment.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this is called active case finding, where you now
Hmm.
you have to go
Yes.
to communities and screen large populations.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now you can't, like I said, do a TrueNat on everybody because first
Hmm.
of all, cost-wise also it's not
Yes. Yes.
justifying
No.
and it's also
Hmm.
not logistically
Hmm.
possible.
Hmm.
But a chest X-ray is supposed to be a
Hmm.
great way of
Hmm. Hmm.
screening people for tuberculosis.
Hmm.
So now what's happening is we have our own X-ray machine.
Hmm.
And these X-rays also get interpreted by AI. So you don't, so
Yes. Yes.
the AI comes in.
Hmm.
So you don't
Hmm.
need a technician or a radiologist.
Hmm.
Now these X-ray machines and our TrueNat can travel together.
Hmm.
You can- In a small car or a 4x4,
Hmm.
you can go to the
Hmm.
community,
Hmm.
screen the population with X-ray, and all people coming positive on the X-ray can be confirmed by a TrueNat right there.
Hmm.
So on the same day, you can do screening and confirmation.
Yes.
So the patient, the confirmed people can be put on treatment straight away.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is a big opportunity. The huge need is coming up now. The
Hmm.
government of India itself is planning a huge rollout of X-rays,
Yeah. Hmm.
and similarly globally also there's a huge requirement. So this is a completely indigenous technology that we got developed with the acquisition that we made, the
Okay.
Prognosis Medical Systems,
Hmm.
and we have, I think, a very good product now globally. A lot of interest coming up for this, and this will again play a big role in the TB area. But
Hmm.
as an X-ray, it will continue to be an X-ray. So you
Hmm.
can also use it for non-TB applications also.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have already started using these X-rays here in India,
Yes, yes.
or okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are
There are already close to about thousand machines
okay.
which will be used in India.
Hmm.
And some global activity has started. So
All right.
about
All
200
right.
machines already there.
All
So
right.
this is now in the next few years going to be a big activity.
But yes.
And we are the only company who have everything in-house. So we have the X-ray
Yes.
in-house, we have the
Right.
TrueNet
Right.
in-house,
In-house.
the
Ah,
AI, everything is in-house. So we
right.
are able to give complete what we call end-to-end solution.
Yes, yes, right. End-to-end solution, and that's all because of your grit and determination and your never say die attitude. I really admire that in you, sir.
Oh,
And
no.
thank you very much for finding time to speak to us and share your journey. If I have left out anything, if you want to share anything else, you are please welcome to do so. If you think
Oh, that's it.
okay.
Really.
Okay, thank you very much, and happy Basant Panchami to you. Today is, at
Thank you very
least
much.
we celebrate Basant Panchami in North India, the advent
Thank
of
you.
spring. Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Same to you. And
Thank you,
thanks
sir.
a lot.
Thank you.